Hi everyone and welcome to In Studio With. I'm your host Matt Blow. Today we have Dr. Bagney from Magnolia by the Lakes. How are you doing today, Dr. Bagney?
I'm doing just great. Thank you for asking me to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So first off, big question, what is Magnolia by the Lakes?
Magnolia by the Lakes is a senior, independent, and assisted living that is made such that it is winterless, and it is beautiful, and it is on the lake, and it is made for residents who are in the autumn of their lives to enjoy their lives tremendously while being taken care of.
And we have some pictures that we'll be showing the audience where you guys have some really nice pictures of the sunset kind of overlooking the lakes and things like that. It's quite, it feels very at home with nature, so to speak.
Yes. One of the nicest factors about Magnolia by the Lakes is that we are situated between two lakes, so we have views of both Cass Lake, which is the largest and deepest lake in southeast Michigan, and the views of Sylvan Lake. And the buildings, multiple buildings, are connected via Harbor Walk, which is a heated and beautifully decorated overhead streets over Cass Lake Road. And we are very fortunate that we are the only ones, to my knowledge, that has been able to provide a overhead bridge, essentially, not for public use, but strictly for private use over Cass Lake Road.
Now, for people not familiar with those specific lakes, what township or city are you guys located in?
We are in Keego Harbor, and whenever we tell our potential residents and their loved ones that we are in Keego Harbor, they think that we are up north someplace, especially since we have the beautiful sunset and the beautiful views of the two lakes.
Now, in terms of coverage, and obviously you guys are based in Keego Harbor, but I assume you kind of take residents from all surrounding communities and things like that. Do you guys have a wide net of coverage, or do you guys try to stay pretty close by?
As a matter of fact, not only we have a number of residents from all over the state, as high up north as Iron Mountain, we have been attracting residents from Florida, Arizona, Virginia, New York, many different states that the loved ones who are here let their parents know that Michigan has a place, Magnolia by the Lakes, which is winterless and has beautiful sceneries and beautiful nature preserves and beautiful lake views. And because of that, we have been very, very busy with out-of-state residents who have contacts here in Michigan to come back and move back to Michigan. We are very lucky about that.
Yeah, that sounds great. So what are some of the most important things that Magnolia by the Lakes either has at their facility, or what kind of services that they provide that you find are kind of uniquely important?
What we have is Magnolia by the Lakes has both independent and assisted living in two separate buildings. Magnolia South is our independent with services. All the services that residents require are provided at Magnolia South. And the ones that truly need assistance, much more than independent residents that need some sort of assistance somewhat, we place them in Magnolia North, which is truly an assisted living all on one floor with its own dining room, its own kitchen, its own theater, and all the activities separated from Magnolia South. That's one difference. Secondly, we have a series of activities that we gear toward our residents. Every resident that comes to Magnolia, we sit down and go over their activities, what they like and what they would like to participate. And if they are good in an area, we definitely try to get their assistance to help us out. But more important than either the beautiful ambiance or beautiful scenery is the service. And that is what I would recommend to all the residents or all the seniors that are looking for a place for themselves or their loved ones looking for their parents, to look for service and dining. Service, dining, cleanliness. And I always recommend that if you are going to tour a facility or a community, first look at the area. Is it clean? Is it neat? Touch this side of the window. Does it have dust? Does it smell good? There are some places that they cover the smell of uncleanliness with popcorn. They have popcorn popping, and that is not very appetizing. And also, do the coordinators, receptionists look at you and greet you and welcome you, and are they friendly? Look around and see how many individuals are serving different residents. What is their dining? Make sure that you eat there. And there are a number of factors that you have to consider when you're choosing a residence.
It's interesting when you touch upon services. Personally, for me, both my grandmothers needed assisted living towards the end of their lives. And one of them was a big artist when she was growing up. She really cared about drawing and things like that. And I don't remember the name of the place she ended up going, but one of the big selling points for her was the fact that they had some kind of art program. You know, because they could have had all this other stuff that she didn't care about, but because they had one or two things that she really did, it helped bridge that a little bit better for her.
Yes, and also there are other factors that residents must look for. One of them is, do they have activities that would create an atmosphere of education and higher learning? That's very important, because it's the mind that runs the body and not the body runs the mind. And what we try to do with our residents to create this sense of hope and helpfulness, friendliness, so that the residents would help each other, teach each other. For example, we never had basket weaving class. I didn't even knew there was such a place available or such a activity. One of our residents came and said that she used to teach basket weaving, and because of that we have started basket weaving. We are also a branch of West Bloomfield Library, which is very important because periodically they come in and bring in all different types of books for our residents, and if the residents require different types of books, they bring it. One of the activities that we have that I'm very proud of is every month, every third Wednesday of the month, we celebrate a culture or a country. And just last week, we celebrated the Russian culture. And they decorate the entire place with Russian clothing and flags and anything Russian you can imagine. And then our dining services provide the best Russian food ever. And then the month before that, we had Argentina and so forth. So we try to talk about different cultures, different countries, different religions, and make sure that our residents are really happy and active. All day long, they're active, doing something.
Before we started recording, we talked about how, you know, your loved ones are never going to tell you that they need to be moved to some kind of independent or assisted living facility. Can you kind of touch upon how those kind of conversations start off, and then kind of from that, kind of walk us through the process if you have a loved one that you think may need kind of an independent or assisted living facility?
Right. There are two ways that we get residents at Magnolia. One is through their loved ones. And generally what happens is that during holidays, Easter, Passover, Christmas, they go to visit mom, dad, or grandpa, and they see that the house is falling apart and they're not happy and they're complaining about the winter driving, about the roof leaking, and the loved ones realize that that's the time the parents or grandparents need to move to a community, a senior community. And that's where the conversation starts. However, we have found that seniors, including myself, we are very stubborn. We like to be at our home and we don't want to move. And that, to me, is a rather selfish motive. For one, our children have their own lives. They want to live and work and take care of their own families. And they shouldn't have to worry about us seniors, what will happen at night, who's going to feed us, who's going to be there if we get a heart attack or we have a chest pain. And they don't want to receive the 3 a.m. call that mom and dad or mom or grandma have gone to the hospital, to the emergency room. That's one way. The other way that your seniors should really consider is that we are not getting younger. And there will be a day that we need to get help. And it is better for us to make that decision where we want to go, where our friends are, where we can make more friends, where do we need better activities, and not leave those decisions to the loved ones while we are in the emergency room.
So kind of try to get ahead of that process and be a part of it rather than kind of have that discussion when it's kind of almost too late in some cases.
Yes, definitely.
So if someone has a loved one that they think might need this, what are the first steps? Is it just kind of looking around at the different places, or do you kind of have a checklist that people should kind of consider?
Yes, I believe that a checklist is very important. The first concern should be, do they want to spend their money on themselves, or do they want to set it aside for their loved ones? And if so, how much of it they want to set aside for themselves? And what is important? Every time somebody calls, even if they are only a single resident, that they don't need much space, the first thing they say, I'm looking for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Well, the larger it is, the more expensive it is. So sure. You have to understand and make sure that if there is a budget constraint, look for the minimum space you need. Do you need, like, for example, we have every one of our townhomes is a different shape, size, and look, and has different views. And we have 5 stories, so obviously the 5th floor penthouse, 3-bedroom penthouse overlooking Cass Lake in the evenings and seeing the sunset, and in the morning the Sylvan Lake and looking at the swans and the sunrise. That is very different than a 1st floor, 1-bedroom overlooking the mini golf course. So you have to understand what is your need for space, and then from there, how important is the lake? We're getting a great deal of residents from up north because they have lived in a lakeside or close to a lake, and to them, water is very important. And since Kigo Harbor is a tiny sea or lakeside town, they love that because there is no crime, there's no congestion, it's a small town. So there are many different factors that you have to write on a paper, what is important and what is not important. And then don't pick 20 different units and drag your loved ones to go visit, because after a while, they all mishmash into each other and you won't be able to find out which one is which. Rather, try to pick 5 and the community where you want to be, the area you want to be, the scenery you would like to have, and the space you would like, and the price. And then for those 5, have a checklist to see if they all meet all of your requirements or some of your requirements, and then try to number them 1 through 5, and just go visit number 1, 2, and 3 and be done with it.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, as we're kind of wrapping up here, Dr. Bagney, is there anything else you want to mention to people, or if they want to get more information about Magnolia by the Lakes, where can they go?
Yes, we would love to have seniors come and tour us and visit us, even if they are not considering Magnolia by the Lakes, because they will learn a lot. And then from there, in the future, if you decide to go to a place of your choice, you can consider Magnolia or not consider Magnolia. But regardless, if you need to come and visit us, we have you there with open arms, and you can call 1-800-681-8000. 1-800-681-8000, Magnolia by the Lakes, and one of our senior marketing agents will schedule you for a tour, and if you like to have lunch or dinner, we'll love to have you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Badney, for stopping by. That's all the time we have for this episode of In the Studio With, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.